Alright, so here's the spoilers review for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So, obviously, if you haven't seen it, all that shit, spoilers for spoilers. Spoilers. Alright, gave you enough warning. We'll talk about it. Alright, so, yeah, like my friends and I said, like, you know, we did enjoy this because, like, you know, and I'm obviously going to be doing a lot of, like, comparison to, like, the prequels and even the originals and all that stuff because, duh, it's part of the franchise. But, like, to compare it to the prequels, since they were obviously like, the last set of movies that came out, like, what I feel like worked with this movie and what didn't work with, like, the previous, you know, movies or movie or whatever, it was, like, you know, they took away, like, the comic relief character, you know? Like, not to constantly just, like, harp on Jar Jar, but, like, we didn't have, like, that one character that was there to be like, hey, you know, like, to bring kids in, like, oh, I was wearing my shirt backwards all of a sudden. Anyway, obviously, what shirt I'm wearing. You know, it wasn't like I said, like, Jar Jar. He wasn't just like, Misa, what that, you know, that bullshit and stuff. You know, like, every character had their kind of, like, their moments, you know, with their jokes and stuff. A lot of it was, like, Finn doing it, but it wasn't, like, awkward. Like, it was, like, forced, like, humor into a part where it was just like, what the you know what I mean? And he had really good lines, and they were, you know, it felt real, like, genuine, like, it's part of his, you know, personality kind of thing. Not just, like, wow, they were really trying for, like, you know, like I said, a comic relief thing. There was also, like, you know, like, the whole thing where it's, like, the guy and girl dynamic thing where it's, like, obviously things are very platonic, and, you know, like, Finn did a couple, like, jokes where he was saying things like, oh, you know, do you have a boyfriend, a cute boyfriend, like, that kind of shit, you know, but there wasn't any of that kind of, like, it was, like, a couple lines here and there, and that was it, you know, like, you know, and, like, in the beginning where, you know, he was like, oh, let me help her, but then she just, like, knocked these guys out, and he's just, like, you know, like, even just, like, little looks and glances was, like, enough, you know, for it to be funny. And for him to be like, oh, let me help this girl. And he's like, oh, fuck, she good. Bitch, you good. You know, that kind of shit. And then, like, when they were running away and he just kept grabbing her hand, she's like, what the fuck's grabbing my hand? You know, like, there was that. And understandably so with the prequels, with the whole, you know, what do you call it, like, Padme and freaking Anakin, and you knew that, like, they're a get-together because that's how you make those babies, literally. But there wasn't any, just, like, none of that whole, like, I don't like sand, it's all rough, it's not soft like skin. Ugh, I really hate that line, and Glee knows that, because, like, she's, like, whenever there's, like, any talk about, like, bad, like, lines in movies, that's always, like, the one I love to just, like, say. And she always just, like, laughs, because she knows just how much I hate that fucking line. But anyway, so there's that, and then also, like, there wasn't a lot of expositional talking going on, you know, in this one. Like in the, what I definitely noticed, like, with the prequels, it was, like, you know, because of it was, like, a lot of it was politics and all that stuff, so they really made it about politics, so it was just, like, you know, a lot of times they're, like, in the Senate, or in, like, the little Jedi, you know, like, meetings and all that shit, and they're talking, and a lot of it is just talking, and talking, and talking, and meetings, and what should we do, and, like, you're only able to understand about these other characters because of what they're talking about. So it's like, well, we can't do that. He's really powerful just like so-and-so. And then just, like, a lot of that over and over and over, like that. Again, with the prequel, especially with 3 movies like that, it was just, like, after a while, you're like, oh, you're just gonna, oh, there they are, having a meeting, you know, there. Oh, there's another meeting there with a bunch of other people. Like, it was just a lot of that happening. And this one, like, yeah, there was, like, quick little expositions, but, like, not to the point where literally people are just sitting there like, anyway, let's talk about the plot kind of thing. So, again, this kind of worked with it, you know, and parts where, like, they brought, you know, like, of course they reference things that happened previous in the original trilogy, but, you know, like, like, Admiral Akbar is in it, and, like, I wasn't expecting him to be there. So when he showed up, I went, ah! You know, and I was really glad I'm really glad, I really hope they don't, like, make him say it in any of the other movies. I just really hope they don't make him say, like, anything like it's a trap or something like that. Because it's like, of course the internet has like played it like ridiculous, outplayed it. I mean, and then you know that was like his line in freaking, was it Jedi or something? Yeah. And so like, you know, don't say it. Like, you're there, you are Admiral Akbar, you do your thing. I think actually that one, I don't think that character was CGI. I think it was actually someone in like a prosthetic and stuff, because it, like, the lightings, they look pretty real, but fucking, you know, it's fucking ILM and stuff, so they're really good at making fake things look so real. But anyway, so but yeah, like, like, you know, that obviously, there's, like, that part where they're like, oh, we gotta take That's a Good Thing, and Finn's like, well, what about this? And you don't see, it's, like, off camera here. And he's like, oh, that's trash, and it gets blown up. They're like, oh, let's get the trash, and the camera pans over, and it's the Millennium Falcon, and I'm just like, oh my god, and it's like, my ship, it's my baby, you know? Of course, you know, you have, like, Chewie and, like, Han showing up and all that stuff. And further into, more spoilers, obviously, when Han died, like, Chewie lost his shit, was like, fuck this, hit the detonator, and the fact that the bad guy is freaking, you know, Han and Leia's, like, son, it's like, oh shit, because obviously there is some, you know, they even say in the trailer, and obviously, you know, like, because obviously, duh, Anakin Vader has, like, you know, the Force in him, and then they and of course Luke has it, of course a bit of Leia has it, so of course, like, being with, like, Solo gets her kid in, and of course they're like, oh, let's have train with Luke, and the whole, pretty much like this entire movie was like, let's find Luke Skywalker kind of thing. And it was cool that you do see him in the end. I'm glad they ended it without him speaking, and I'm glad they ended it with him like not grabbing for the, you know, like probably the next movie they'll like start it like at that point or something. But yeah, like I do like that kind of storyline. It wasn't just like this guy, it's just some, you know, like, again, like, just some Sith Lord, just some bad guy, you know, like, not, you know, there was, like, a reason for it. And when the kid, like, took off his helmet, I don't know, I don't want to say it's, like, anticlimactic that, like, the kid took off his helmet and he's, like, just some bloke kind of thing, but, he took off his helmet, and I love how, like, in Star Wars tradition, like, oh, the bad guy has slightly long hair, because, like, when Anakin was starting to go, like, really bad, his hair got a little bit longer, you know, that kind of shit. But I love that he had, like, slightly long hair, and all I thought was, like, young John Travolta, like, he had, like, the longer hair and all that stuff, because he had, like, the kind of biggish, like, John Travolta nose and all that stuff. And I was glad he didn't have, like, a whiny Hayden Christensen voice, because, you know, like, the whole thing, he's like, I'm talking like this, like, you know, the voice changer. When he took off the helmet, like, he's still, like, you know, like, alright, cool, not so bad, but not just like, hey, kill all the women, and children. Like, that's another thing, is that there wasn't, like, whininess, like, to a degree, because obviously, like, the bad guy was a bit on the whiny side, but, like, not full-on, like, Anakin Skywalker, like, bitch fit whine thing. He was just very angry, so whenever he was pissed off, like, he was just, like, taking the lightsaber and just, like, mashing up the fucking, like, you know, control panel and stuff, and I was like, Jesus, tell me how you really feel, and everyone thinks I'm angry, you know? And he was just like, ah, like, all that shit, and then he was, like, obviously doing the Vader thing of, like, you know, using the Force on people, like, doing the choke out stuff and all that shit. And when Rey was just like, like, you know, when she, them fighting words, when she was like, you would never be as good as Darth Vader, he was like, say, what? You know? Just, yeah, like, I enjoyed it in the fact that, like, in the way how it was advertised, it made you think that, like, you know, Finn was Stormtrooper turned Jedi kind of thing, because you see him, and even in, like, the poster and stuff, he has the goddamn, you know, lightsaber, but it turns out, like, she has the Jedi, like, she has, like, the Force in her, and it's just, like, and it was fucking awesome, and I'm really glad, because she kicks some fucking ass, and it's great, and, you know, just to be, like, oh, because obviously you saw in the prequels, you saw in other ones, like, obviously women can be Jedis, duh, but it's just great, you know, like, that she was just kind of like, oh, I don't know, man, I don't know. Alright, let me kick some ass. You know, and it was great. And the fact that she did the whole, like, you know, it's like, pretty much like, you will take these restraints off of me and leave the door open. He's like, what? He's like, no, I'm not gonna, like, the stormtrooper's like, I'm not doing it. And she's like, you will take these restraints off me and leave the door open. And also he's like, I will take the restraints off and leave the door open. And as he's leaving, she's like, you will also leave the gun, and I'm gonna leave my gun. Like, that's great. Like, it was great that she slowly started to, like, figure all that stuff out. Like like I said, I enjoyed this movie, and I was telling, you know, like Paul and Phil, and I was like, yo, you know, there's gonna be people out there, obviously, who's gonna be nitpicking the shit out of this. You know, and there were parts where I was watching it, I was fine with it, but I could just see someone just nitpicking. Like when Finn was like gonna fight against Bad Dude with the lightsaber, and someone's gonna be like, oh, all of a sudden he knows how to wield it, or like, why are they even a match because he has the Force and he doesn't, you know, like, you know, that kind of shit. Like someone would just nitpick on that, or like, you know, whatever, comic relief, or like, oh, too many, like some people would be like, there's not enough callbacks, and other people would be like, there's too many callbacks, you know, there's always gonna be someone who's upset with something, you know? Like I said, I generally liked it. It's not one of those, like, you know, like, I'm glad it turned out, like, I'm glad I enjoyed it. I'm glad it turned out that I was happy with it. Because, like, you know, a year ago when I did my teaser trailer reaction, I gave it a very neutral response because, of course I was excited to see the Star Wars trailer because I've been a big Star Wars fan. Like, I love Star Wars. But I didn't want it to suddenly get hyped and be like, oh shit, because like when I was a teenager, like in my young teens, so when the prequels came out, and I was like, yay, Star Wars, da-da-da, and then I was just like excited to see it, but then like, I was like a teenager, so I didn't really fully like grasp like a lot of the stuff, so I just like was excited for like the action sequences, but at least there was no fucking pod racing in this goddamn one. Fucking like 5 minutes of just like, things happening! Also, it's great, I love that they kept with the tradition of having the freaking like just scene transitions with the swipings, you know, what did someone on Tumblr call it, like PowerPoint transitions. I'm glad it was, you know, keep up with the tradition kind of thing. But yeah, like, you know, someone's gonna be like nitpicking all that stuff, and what, oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought, sorry, about being a teenager and like watching it, and then like, and I remember rewatching them, like rewatching some of the prequels, and when the second one came out, I was just like, that's when I was like, by then I was in high school, because when Phantom Menace came out, I was in middle school, so by the time, what do you call that, Attack of the Clones, sorry, I almost forgot this, like, second episode, that one came out, I was already like, when I watched that, I was like, oh, and that's the one with the line about sand, and when that's when he was like, really like, meh, 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 meh. So I was like, oh no, and I remember, and then like, the third one, when the third one came out, I remember I was just like, I think I was just like laughing throughout the whole, like I was just like riffing that one the entire time with like my friends, because it was just like, by then we were just like, oh, like, it's, not to say that we gave up, we're just like, well, it's the movie, we're just gonna watch it kind of thing. But like this one, like I said, back to what I've been babbling about before. A year ago when the teaser trailer came out, like I said, I was neutral about it because I was like, it looks good, it looks interesting, you know, but again, it was a teaser trailer. Like I said, I didn't want to get too hyped because again, I still had a whole year before the movie came out. You know, obviously other trailers were going to come out and yada 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 and all that stuff. So I saw it and I was like, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I liked that, you know, to find out that it was like, oh, hey, it's Stormtrooper, a black Stormtrooper. And then you got the stupid racists who were complaining about that. And it's like, well, they explained it in the movie. You know, he was taken away from his family kind of shit. And it was like, oh, wow. And also, back to keeping with the tradition of Star Wars movies that everyone on the bad side is all British. I think like Eddie Izzard mentioned that. He was just like, yeah, it's like good thing that, you know, Darth Vader had that James Earl Jones voice, because it wouldn't be threatening if he's like, hello, no, he's like, I'm Lord Vader. Just like, oh my god. Anyway, yeah, you see that, and you, like, you know, slowly but surely, but yeah, anyway, so then when the official trailer came out, was it like last month or something like that, or no, October, whatever, when that came out, yeah, in October, I actually was excited. I think, like, my reaction video, I didn't really show as excited as I was. I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, this looks really good. I was just like, alright, cool, this looks really good. But then, like, later, like, I remember rewatching it, I'm just like, and then, like, Brian Michael Bendis posted up, like, someone had cut all, like, the 2 to 3, like, teaser trailers into, like, and the official, like, main one into one, and just, like, and then that made me really excited for the movie, because then, like, it kind of, the way how they edited it just made it make more sense, or just show more of, I guess, like, whatever. It's just, like, it just, that made me just like more hyped, and I was like, shit, this might actually be really good, like, which is weird because I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of slightly disappointed now that this is gonna be really good, like, really dude. But anyway, yeah, so as I said, I enjoyed this a lot. I know there's gonna be like people nitpicking and all that stuff, but again, it could be worse because we've seen what could be worse. Knocked over stuff, you know. It's, again, it's not like great, you know, it's not like Empire great, but it's so good, you know. Yeah, there's obviously, there's 2 other movies, all that stuff, you know, like, that's, I enjoyed it, I did, my friends and I, we enjoyed it, you know, like, the audience, like, that was a really great audience, except for that asshole behind us who kept kicking the chair and stuff, but, like, the audience was great, like, you know, once the lights dimmed and, you know, the Lucasfilm thing came up, we were all just having our nerdgasm, like, going, woo, all that stuff, and then did the whole, like, you know, a long time ago, galaxy far away, my heart started going, like that, because I was, like, nervous, I was like, oh, god, fuck, it's actually happening, and then it goes into the, you know, obviously the Star Wars thing, and then, like, the scroll up, and I don't know why, like, I read that part, like, so attentively, like, I must make sure I read this with, like, uttermost, like, attention to it and stuff, and it's like, wow, because I think previous movies, I would, like, read it, but then I'd, like, and then I remember I would ask questions about it, and my sister would be like, dude, it was in, like, the beginning scroll, and I'd be like, oh, well, I kind of read it, but I don't remember. Probably explains why I didn't really, like, you know, excel in English class that well. Anyway, but yeah, oh, we saw it in IMAX 3D, almost forgot about that. So we saw it in IMAX 3D, and obviously, it's worth the IMAX part. The 3D was more atmospheric, and I enjoyed, like, the Star Wars, like, world, the universe, yada yada, the environment in, like, obviously the atmospheric 3D and all that stuff. It worked. It was really good, especially when, like, you know, when they like to do the little hologram, like, graphics and stuff, and when you got, like, a character here, well, a character here, and then a character here, and then a graphic and stuff, and, like, you know, just that nice, like, spatial kind of thing, you know, like, it worked really well, and I'm actually glad. I'm not sure, well, I really don't think they, like, filmed it in 3D, and it was probably mostly a conversion, but the IMAX part of it, just because it's big, and it's Star Wars, and then the soundtrack, and you got that John Williams score going on and shit, like, it was great, and there was a lot of, like, obviously callback music when during certain parts, you're like, oh, that's from that, you know, and it was just like, ah, you know, and like I said, I enjoyed it, my friends and I, oh god, my friends and I enjoyed it, you know, we had a good time, like I said, the audience was, like, great, it ended, we all kind of, like, you know, cheered and clapped and all that stuff, like, and mind you, like, I was so attentive to watching the movie that at no point did I check my watch, no matter, even if, like, a movie I really like, there's still a time where I'll just, like, go and, like, go, okay, cool, it's been an hour, oh, okay, that's the 2-hour mark's coming up or something like that, you know, even if I like a movie, like, I kind of do that, but this one, I was just, like, glued to the fucking screen, you know, like, every so often, I'm like, oh, my butt hurts, so let me sit like this, let me kind of sit like that, but I enjoyed it, I fucking really, really enjoyed it, like, yeah, I'm glad, like, in all honesty, I am very glad this movie turned out to be good, because, like, it's just, I don't know if I can really take it being another series of Star Wars movies being bad, and having to explain to people why I don't like it, even though it's something within a universe that I love, but anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, just because, like, I don't know what the other, like, 2 movies will, like, entail and all that stuff. Well, it'll probably entail, like, the girl being trained by, you know, I was supposed to say George Lucas, Jesus Christ, I'm tired. The girl, Rey, being trained by, you know, Luke Skywalker and all that stuff, and all that shit, and maybe, like, you know, Finn whatever, you know, maybe, like, Finn teams up with, like, Chewie, you know, and is his new, like, Han Solo or something, or, like, fucking, what's his name, Poe, Oscar Isaac's character might teach him, like, to fly, and all that stuff, because he's always like, I need a pilot, kind of shit, so, I don't know, you know, and maybe, like, fucking, and this was something I kind of wanted, was like, yo, if Leia gets a lightsaber and she fucking does some good shit, and not like a ridiculous episode 2 Yoda fighting, kind of like, okay, it's awesome, but now it's a little OD kind of thing. like, just, you know, like, she needs to defend herself, and she just goes whip, whip, just, like, something quick. Nothing where it need to be, like, a long, exaggerated fight scene kind of thing. Then that'd be great, because, yeah, fuck yeah, Carrie Fisher, you know? But, anyway, I've just been babbling for a while, but, yeah, like I said, go see Force Awakens. It's fun. I feel like, even if you're not, like, I don't know, I feel like even if you're not a Star Wars fan, like, I don't know, I feel like, even if you, like, watch it, you might not know all the characters, might not really know the backstory, but I feel like, watch it with, like, people who like Star Wars, and just, like, I don't know, just, like, that environment with the people, and they're, like, excited, you know what I mean? Because, like, I'm not a fan, really, of, like, the Harry Potter series, but I did see all the movies, and I did enjoy them, like, the movies, like, as their own, like, thing. But I remember, like, going to see those movies with, like, you know, the fans of, like, the books, like, and all that stuff, and me being, like, the one, like, asshole didn't read them. But, like, just, like, that kind of, like, atmosphere, like, the buzz in the air kind of thing, with them being excited, and, like, you hear them, like, going, ooh, ooh, like, and so that's when I'm like, oh, that's an important thing, you know, and I later asked them, like, oh, what was that, like, cool, okay, you know, it's still, like, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, oh, I might not need it, no, might not need it, wow, English words, anyway, it's like, oh, that's cool, that's good to know, you know, I feel like it's just, like, just so you know you're, like, in that environment. I don't know, maybe because it's, like, I'm just, like, a freaking nerd anyway, and most people who just, yeah, I don't really trust people who've never seen Star Wars, but, anyway, I keep babbling, but yeah, go see it. Go see it, for fuck's sakes, because, yeah, alright, I'm talking too much.